Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Manikandan Sundaresan. I first of all would like to thank Mr. David Livingston who has given me this opportunity to meet you through this video. David, I'm so happy that you are doing this venture. Way to go, my dear boy. Ladies and gentlemen, I was training David. David was one of my students and a very good friend of mine. 2 years back when he was doing his MBA, we both were spending a lot of time together and David was a quick learner. And now I'm so happy to see him in such a big company in the HR division. Out of all the challenges that Mother India faces now, the food waste problem is the biggest adversity that all of us have to consider. In fact, more than an adversity, it has become a very big devastating problem. Because if a problem is causing worries and sorrows for a particular person, then it is just, of course, it's an ordinary problem. But when a problem is causing the death fear for a person, it's not a normal problem, it is an abnormal problem. We have this abnormal problem looming over our India in the recent times. I'm not speaking about the scarcity of food. I'm speaking about sometimes the surplus of food, the food waste, the food being wasted. We are living in this fast world and we are having the technology looming all over. We are sometimes dominated by the technology as well. But the technology can never overcome this hunger and the kind of scarcity that we have for the basic necessity of the resources. But with the increased rate of the fast food and the immediate solutions of, you know, quenching your hunger, the food waste has become abnormally huge. We need to put a full stop for this. I recently came across a concept called as portion control. When you're hungry and when you start having your meal, at one point of time when your hunger is over, you have this portion control. Stop, stating that I'm done with my food at this course of meal. And that particular segment of meal that you are going to omit, stating that your hunger is already quenched, that meal is going to serve at least 5 people. Because the statistics says a very vulnerable point that in this second that you and me are talking, 15 million people are suffering from hunger and suffering from starvation. And out of those 15 million people, at least 3 million people are about to die in another couple of seconds. And it is a dangerous kind of a fact. If we can do something about this, the only thing that we can do is in and around, in the near vicinity of our own surrounding, we have to spread this message of food control and we have to spread this message of taking only the optimum level of food which is definitely enough for quenching your hunger. But it doesn't mean that we people are trying to have more food and we people try to become more junky in terms of taking food. That's not my point. But we just don't see the necessity of serving the allocation of food to the other people. So practice portion control. Eat only when you are hungry. And if you are suggested and if you are encouraged to have food for your pleasure and desire, please skip that idea of having food just for pleasure and desire. Avoid taking too much of snacks. And once you order your food in the hotel or restaurants or any other places, public places, make sure that you order only for having the satisfaction for your hunger, not more than that. And the groceries and the levels of home resources that you purchase at your residences, please make sure that they are only in the optimum level. And by chance, if you have a portion of food that could be served to the others, please contact to the local centers, please contact to the local self groups and offer your foods to those people. Children, women, men, and of course, old people, out of those 15 million people that we have spoken a couple of minutes back, those people are going to be served by your golden hand. I also came across another statement, one man's food is another man's poison. Your food is somebody else's poison. That's actually a philosophy. When you are happy, somebody else is sad. In order to make that point understand, we make this particular concept called as, one man's food is another man's poison. But today, in India, as per this current problem, one man's food is a group of people's food. It's not about poison. One man's food is a group of people's food. The food that you are having for the breakfast this morning is going to serve at least 10 people somewhere in the world. Somewhere. Why to talk about the world? Let us confine ourselves to our own country. The meal that you are going to have at the lunch is going to serve at least 5 people in India. And my encouragement is not to go for starving. Eat, but at the same time, just think of some ways to contribute your food to some local self-group agencies, or you can even packet the food and you can give those excess to some people who are really willing, or a particular movement which is driven towards destroying this food starvation in India. I went to a private college very recently, and in the hostel, almost 75 students who had their lunch leave the food leftovers in a particular bin. And if you take that bin, you can serve an entire village. Jokes apart, this is not exaggeration. And I was shocked to see that. And I had this kind of an inclination to go to the management and represent that issue. And thanks to the management, they have accepted it as a very countable suggestion. Likewise, you can also take some steps for making the other people know and making the other people get the awareness about this very profound concept, which would definitely make our nation to the next level. It's a tiny thing, but in between your busy schedule, if you microscopically view this tiny thing, you will understand that it is a big, huge problem that is posing threat to our country. So think about it and try to take a step, because your initiation of the step is definitely going to save some people's lives. It's really worth it, right? Thanks for listening. My name is Manikandan Sundaresan, and I'm a psychology and soft skills trainer for college students, school students, and company people.